Senior BJP leader Piyush Goyal addressing a press conference responding to Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's charges about stock manipulation. Let's listen to what the union minister is saying.
बेबुनियाद है, उसमें तो कोई मतलब नहीं। I have answered all the questions. जयराम रमेश जी ने सुनी नहीं होगी या तो बात। आप में से कोई बताइए, कोई विषय है जिसमें मैंने अभी तक आपको जवाब नहीं दिया हो? उन्होंने ये दावा लिया था कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार, एनडीए की सरकार फिर एक बार आ रही है और हमारा आत्मविश्वास है कि हमारी सरकार ने जो 10 वर्षों में, अभी मैंने आंकड़ों के साथ बताया कि 67 लाख करोड़ से बढ़कर आज मार्केट कैप 415 लाख करोड़ हो गई है। तो निवेशकों ने लाभ लिया ही है हमारे काम का। तो स्वाभाविक है कि अगर हमारी सरकार तीसरी टर्म में आएगी, भारत आज विश्व की सबसे तेज गति से बढ़ने वाली बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है, आगे भी रहेगी। हमने ये दावा दिया है और बड़े कॉन्फिडेंस से हम कह रहे हैं कि हम विश्व की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बनेंगे। तो स्वाभाविक है कि निवेशक उसका लाभ लेंगे। All reforms will continue. The country is poised for a bright future ahead. We are delighted that our allies are equally progressive, whether all our NDA allies are progressive parties. They support reform, they support what is good for the people of India, and they understand that the 10 years of the Modi government have taken the country to newer heights and have the confidence that under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's able leadership and the big vision with which he has taken the country to today's position of being the world's fastest growing large economy, they are confident that under his leadership, this country will continue to do better and better and become the world's third largest economy while continuing the growth that we are witnessing in the last few years. और ये जो बात 30 लाख करोड़ की करते हैं राहुल गांधी जी, मुझे ध्यान आ गया कि क्यों देश की जनता का राहुल गांधी जी पर जरा भी विश्वास नहीं, क्योंकि वो ये भी नहीं समझते कि ये तो वैल्यूएशन है। वैल्यूएशन से मतलब नहीं है, जो खरीद और बेच होती है उसी का मतलब होता है, और उसमें फॉरेनर्स ने नुकसान पाया, भारत के निवेशकों ने लाभ लिया है। तो रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स भारत के इस दौरान भी लाभ लिया और फिर आज के दिन मार्केट फिर एक बार जो 3-4 दिन पहले थी उस मार्केट पे फिर एक बार पहुंच गई, जब स्पष्ट हो गया कि मोदी सरकार आ रही है, मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री बनने जा रहे हैं। विपक्ष की हार की हताशा से अभी तक शायद राहुल गांधी जी उभरे नहीं है। अब वो मार्केट के इन्वेस्टर्स को भी गुमराह करने की साजिश रच रहे हैं और अपने बयानों के साथ विदेश और देश के निवेशकों को एक भय के वातावरण में निवेश ना करें, इसके लिए उत्साहित करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
So massive fireworks over the Prime Minister and the Home Minister's comments about the stock markets. Likely to see a bull run after the results come out. Rahul Gandhi questioning why this was said. That was the live press conference by Union Minister Piyush Goyal, where he's trying to answer that question. The Congress demanding a joint parliamentary committee to be set up on this issue, saying we'll take this up in the first session of the new government. We will look at this very, very carefully, try and get you all sides of the story, try and understand what really happened in the build-up to the exit polls, then on counting day, We'll try and understand different dimensions politically, financially, and from the market's perspective. But before that, let me take you through all that happened in that Rahul Gandhi press conference.
Hours after the final phase of polling in Lok Sabha elections concluded, several exit polls predicted that NDA could win 400 seats, sending the Sensex soaring. On Tuesday, as the official numbers emerged, the BSE Sensex plunged over 6,000 points to the 70,300 mark, while the Nifty 50 ended at 21,884.50. Market capitalization decreased by rupees 45.56 lakh crore to 380 lakh crore, causing hefty losses to the investors. Congress MP Rahul Gandhi on Thursday called the crash deliberate market manipulation.
We are absolutely convinced that this is a scam. Somebody has made thousands of crores of rupees at the cost of Indian retail investors, and the Prime Minister and the Home Minister have given an indication to buy. And this is a criminal act.
Rahul posed direct questions to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah.
This is directly the Prime Minister of India, Home Minister, who are privy to data on actual election results, who have IB reports, who have their own data, who are advising retail investors to buy stock.
The Congress leader has demanded a joint parliamentary committee probe.
We are interested in having a joint parliamentary committee, a JPC, to investigate the role of the Prime Minister, the role of the Home Minister, role of BJP members, and also those people who have done these fake exit polls. And finally, we want to understand who are the people, these foreign investors, who did these trades. So we want an investigation for that.
Just 2 days after results were announced, a newly energized opposition has gone to the front foot right away. With the NDA Sarkar dependent on allies, the opposition will try to corner the government in the coming months. Bureau Report, India Today.
Is there merit in Rahul Gandhi's charges about the prospects of a stock market scam? Or does he have this all wrong? As Piyush Goyal said, does he understand the difference between valuation, notional, paper money, and also a real financial scam? Did people make money on the exit polls, and what's happening since? To try and understand different dimensions of this, I'm joined by Salman Soz, National Spokesperson of the Congress. He'll try and explain what Rahul Gandhi is saying and why. To counter that, we have Amit Malviya, IT cell in charge of the Bharatiya Janata Party, also its National Executive Member. With me in the studio, my colleague, Managing Editor at Business Today Television, Siddharth Zarabi. And for a markets perspective, I have Arun Kejriwal. Now, I want to go across to Salman Soz, who knows a thing about the financial markets, to try and explain why this is a scam. The fact that people will take positions once they know what's in the exit polls and that they seek to profit from it, that's just the nature of the stock markets. Why is Rahul Gandhi making it seem as if there was some major scam? Try and explain that, and then we'll try and peel the layers of what you're saying. Salman Soz.
Rahul, if you follow the trajectory of the stock market, and you also follow the trajectory of what senior BJP leaders have been saying, pumping up the stock market all along, and this has not just been in the last few days. It was, I think it started in May. But
so Salman, I'll come to the morality of the HM and the PM, talking about the markets in a moment. That's part of my show. I'm just trying to understand. All the channels put out the exit polls. The next morning, all operators, whoever wants to take a position, takes a position on it. The polls don't come out to be true. The markets crash. Those who've taken short positions cut their losses, come out. Where is the scam? I'm trying to understand. What's the scam you're alleging?
Rahul, let me explain. All market players are not the same. I mean, you cannot argue persuasively that, say, foreign investors who are putting in, portfolio investments, they're the same as a retail investor who's basically investing on his own kind of knowledge research. Now, you can say that it is their fault retail investors if they invest during a volatile time. But we know that market participants are not all built the same. And that is not how the stock
No, I'm
market...
trying to ask you, Mr. Soos, what's the scam you're alleging? Just try and explain the scam, then we'll get into it. What's the scam?
The scam is that the market fluctuations that we've seen as a direct result of one, exit polls that were all exit polls except on your show. None of them have produced their methodology. None. Nobody has made anything public.
No, you don't like the exit. That's fine. You don't like the exit polls, and the exit polls were wrong. That's correct.
That's one. Wait a second. Then the Prime Minister says, I know that we're going to have a record stock market on June 4th. What is the signal that these people were sending to common investors? Everything is good. You just go and buy these stocks and other things. And what
hold that thought. I think I try and understand what you're saying. You're not able to explain where the scam is. You're on the question of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister talking up the markets. You know, typically,
yes,
Mr. Malviya, that doesn't happen. Sir, you haven't explained the scam, but I'll come to that in a moment.
But that is, no, Rahul,
yeah, that's bad enough. That's bad enough.
Rahul, that is exactly the scam. If you're pumping up the market and then the market crashes, when you know that when your own internal polls are saying that you're not...
No, but how do you know the internal polls were saying 220 seats? Mr. Soos, how do you know the internal polls were saying 220 seats? You don't know that.
Well, let the Bharatiya Janata... That is why we need an investigation. Let them come out. We should ask the Prime Minister and the Home Minister and the Finance Minister.
But you haven't explained the scam. So why I ask is, yes, Rahul, after the results came, the markets crashed. Since then, they've already recovered most of the lost ground.
But those who have been left with the losses, that is 371 billion with a B, dollars. That's 10% of the Indian economy was lost, was erased. Now, some people...
Sir, but that's the nature of the markets. When you go in and you take a position which is a punt, that's the risk that you take.
Sorry, my electricity is gone. Thank you very much.
No, don't worry. You fix that light. I'll come to you. I've kind of understood what you're saying. Let Mr. Malviya comment on why the Prime Minister and the Home Minister were talking up the markets. Typically, senior politicians, including finance ministers, and most definitely not the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, they don't give market advice. Why were top leaders of your party, Mr. Malviya, giving market advice to investors?
Rahul, I'm not going to tie myself in knots like Salman Soos just did, but you have to hear me out because this is something which is technical, and therefore let me give you the facts. 31st May 2024, when the market closed, until date, which is 6 June 2024, the BSE Sensex is up by 1,150 points, which is roughly about 1.55%. The investors have made rupees 7.5 trillion gain in the last 4 days of trading. In the last 2 days alone, the market has rebounded 3,000 points and investors have regained 21 lakh crore rupees. I am talking about the gains and the growth that the investors may have seen in their portfolios if they were holding on to their portfolios. Now, I can't quite understand where is the scam here. Is it Rahul Gandhi's argument that markets should be unidirectional? There should be no profits booking, buying, selling. What is his argument? I can't quite
So can I hold you for a second? You aren't answering, you're explaining the larger picture about how markets work, and that is correct. But the specific question is, why was the Prime Minister and the Home Minister talking up the markets? Why were they giving advice to retail investors? Is that correct?
Before I could come to the question that you asked, you interjected me. So now let me explain that. The Prime Minister gave almost 80 interviews, including several to your channel. Journalists, particularly the ones who cover business, finance, markets, asked them specific questions. How do they see the economy? How do they see the markets? And everybody who spoke to financial journalists said that given how the economy has performed, and if you remember, the GDP numbers had just come out and India had clocked 8.2%. for the quarter that just went by. Naturally, the sentiment was very good. India's export is approximately $776 billion. Our reserves are very healthy at around $750 plus. Given such a scenario, the sense was that the market would do very well. There was an expectation that Prime Minister Modi-led government will come back again for a third term. The market had already discounted this news, and in fact, before it closed on 31st of May, which was the last day of the trading in the previous week, the market had already seen a peak. Now, this is not unusual for markets to react to news, whether it is exit poll, whether it is the GDP number, whether it is the labor survey. Markets react to various information that is coming out, including calamities of different kinds, and that is what investors and investing is all about. Now, I can't quite understand how should your exit poll, for instance, be blamed for the market movement. Is this the first time that anybody has done an exit poll? Every time an election is held, there's an exit poll that follows. It's an exercise that's done world over. Nobody alleged a scam at that point in time. If you are asked a question and if you respond to how the economic indicators are emerging, because nobody stopped the GDP number from coming out just because we had an election going on.
Salman, so respond to Amit Malviya. Amit Malviya is right that both the Prime Minister and the Home Minister were asked questions by business journalists or journalists working with organizations which have like financial outlets. They were asked a question, what else do you expect them to say? They say, invest karo. You know, he's not going to say, don't invest. It's not like he wanted to put that in. He was asked a question. What else? If you were asked and if you had a government, you would say, we're thinking that they'll do well. That's his response. Respond to that.
Let me say what if somebody had asked me, and by the way, I know a little bit about the markets compared to our Prime Minister, for example, I would say that this is not something that I should be getting into. We should wait, this whole idea that the markets are going to touch record levels, that's what the Prime Minister said. Record levels. On June 4th, market will be touching record levels. Now, Rahul, here's the scam. If you want to know what the scam is that people who are really, investors who have all the knowledge and know-how about what valuations are, they're not going to be swayed by what the Prime Minister says or what Amit Shah says, because they know that these are relatively, uneducated people about the market. We should not listen to them. But there are millions upon millions of people who trust the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, but who may not be as market savvy. And they look at the Prime Minister, they think, oh, these guys know what's happening. These guys must have all the internal surveys about what is happening with this election. These guys are saying it's going to touch record numbers. We should invest now.
But Salman, so that's a very naive way of looking at it, because people hear all kinds of investment advice on business channels all the time. They make up their mind on whether they want to invest. Anybody who's investing in the markets is not taking cues from one person or the other. But hold that for a moment. Siddharth Zarabi, it is kind of awkward for top leaders to be wanting to talk up the markets. Usually when finance ministers are asked, they say, our job is to make policy, we don't give market advice, we don't really bother very much about the markets. Do you find it odd that the Prime Minister and the Home Minister made the comments that they did?
Exactly 20 years ago, when the UPA came into shock power, are they forgetting what happened to the markets then? A 15.52% down move on the Sensex at that time. And they said, disinvestment be damned, we don't care about the markets. We had an interim finance minister, he couldn't do anything. We had a SEBI chief, they were looking at the markets rise and fall. When the UPA came in, market fall was good. When exit polls come in, you require a JPC. Just 2-3 facts, Rahul, to put this into context, because, we can't take political sides. What are the facts? The fact is, there is a framework called where a registered investment advisor can give market advice. Where specific stocks spoken about? No. This is general chatter in response to a question. Be that as it may, it's for the SEBI to respond on this. The Parliament does not cover the markets. There is a proper regulated entity. Look at the Nifty. The Nifty has recovered by almost 1,580 points over that time. And I have 2 affidavits here with me. Rahul Gandhi's stock portfolio declared as part of his election portfolio with a date of 15th March, value of 4.33 crore only on his listed securities, not the rest of
So he invests directly in the market?
Absolutely. There are 25 shares, Alkaline Amines, Asian Paints, Bajaj Finance, Deepak Nitrite, Divi's. There is also a list of the entire listed security investor and a much longer and larger list of Home Minister Amit Shah. Now, in both cases...
But neither of these are a scam. They're allowed to invest.
No, absolutely. And I've just been trying to do the maths last moment. It's clear that Mr. Rahul Gandhi's portfolio has improved. In fact, the total value of his listed shareholding is higher than what he had filed it on 15 March. Similar would be the case with Amit Shah. And by the way, for those who might be interested, Rahul Gandhi's stock picking is very smart. He has large cap index stocks. The Home Minister's stock holding is spread all over, including many companies whose names are no longer in favor with investors.
No, because he told me, I asked him this question. He said, I don't touch the portfolio I have. It's kind of lying as is.
Absolutely. That is why to say from a market perspective that something is deliberate is very off, because then within 3 days, it's recovered. And one final point, Rahul, before you go to your other guests. I have a question to raise of the Election Commission, which many established stock market names have said on record on Business Today television. Those videos and clips are out there. They said if the exit polls, and the market was only not responding to exit polls, they were responding to GDP data, they were responding to S&P, they were responding to 100 tons of gold being brought back. If the exit polls came on Saturday evening, there was a Sunday, and then there was counting on Tuesday. Now the Election Commission wouldn't have thought of it. Experts asked that shouldn't the Election Commission have been cognizant of it, that counting should have happened on Monday morning. So there are...
The Election Commission not looking at the markets and deciding when to have the counting day.
Exactly. Therefore, to say that there is a design is very difficult when you look at the facts.
So Arun Kejriwal, here's the reality. Rahul Gandhi didn't properly explain. I don't think Salman Soz has been able to either. But here is what the scam could potentially be. If somebody had prior information and had taken positions based on the exit polls, that can potentially still be a scam because that's insider trading, but not really because not linked to any one company, but that's morally wrong. That's something that you can investigate. If the markets are closed on Saturday, Sunday again the markets are closed, they open on Monday, the information is with everyone. Yeah. The information by then is with everyone. Everyone can, and everybody in the markets, when they take a position, that's what they do. You get information. Siddharth mentioned gold, you've got the S&P index, whatever it is, you take your cues based on public information. Do you, at any level, sense a scam here? What could the scam be?
Let me tell you what the scam is. The scam is what happened in 2009 when the UPA came back to power in their second term. Within a minute of markets opening, we hit the upper circuit. And within another minute of the market reopening, we hit the upper circuit. Why did this happen? Because in 2004, when the Vajpayee government lost, there was a down circuit. So to show vengeance, we are back with a vengeance. This happened. Mind you, I'm talking of an era when volumes were not even a couple of percentage points of what they are today. What foreigners did is what moved the markets completely. Today we have a very vibrant domestic institution-led market, which is backed by millions and millions of retail investors through SIPs, where the SIP number has already crossed 25,000 crores per month. The scenario has changed completely. Coming to your point, which you had asked your other guests about the finance minister and about the home minister, I remember on your show hearing the finance minister saying when the market was at down circuit, because at that time we used to have one consistent irritant, that was the participatory note issue of Mauritius-based entities, where the finance minister has repeatedly said, even as we speak, when the market is closed for a circuit break, FIIs are buying. FIIs are buying. If this is not insider trading for a closed market, what is? I don't read much into what has been said. The fact of the matter is I have done so well compared to what I did in the previous election. I should be the prime minister. I should be the ruling party. First, the attack was, you resigned because you've lost morally. Now you resign because you've done a scam. And let me take you back. I mean, you do get carried away from the market to also politically. Rafael, Chaukidar Chor hai. So there is a reason to cry and cry and cry each time.
So now you got markets people talking like they're politicians, and you got politicians talking like they're in the markets, and I'm a bit confused about what's going on. Salman says, you haven't been able to explain what the scam is. People take positions on public information. You are welcome to do the same. If you thought he was wrong, you could have punted against it. You could have shorted the markets, and you would have made some money. That's how the markets work. That's the nature of the markets. Scam kya hai?
Rahul, I think the scam ye bhi hai ki you have four other people on this panel, including yourself, who are not just willing to listen to anything because you've made up your minds about a certain situation.
Which is okay. Listening to you. We're listening to you.
But Rahul, let me just say, Siddharth talked about the UPA Times. He did not say when Manmohan Singh said that you must buy because it's going to be a record market for you. Did Manmohan Singh say that? Why did Siddharth bring up the UPA Times? What for? And this market expert that you're talking about, who's more like...
Inflation numbers would go up and fall down. Didn't the UPA talk about inflation numbers? Salman, let's not go there. Let's not go there. There's a lot that is in a reporter's memory that I would like to say here.
Siddharth, I did not interrupt you. I listened to you politely. Now you please be courteous and listen to me. You raised the issue of UPA Times. You did. I did not. And I asked you, did Dr. Manmohan Singh ever say that people should go out and buy stocks because the stock market is going to hit a record high because we are winning? He did not say that. Prime Minister Modi did say that. And Prime Minister Modi knew more about this election because of all of the institutional support that he had. He knew what was happening in this election more than even Rahul and his Mr. Pradeep Gupta did. And they encouraged people to buy.
If you're on the morality of the Prime Minister talking about the markets or not.
Rahul, let me just say one more thing to you. When you select your panels, this market expert that you have, Mr. I don't know what his name is. I can't read. Arun.
Sir, he speaks more objection. He has no right to get busted.
I mean, you must have a balanced panel. Yes, zamana khatam ho gaya. BJP वालों को panel में लाओगे. सब BJP वालों को panel में लाओगे. वैसे नहीं चलेगा, Rahul.
Sir, you will struggle to find too many people in the stock markets who will take the position of the Congress, given the kind of leftist lines you've been taken. It's just the very nature of the markets. They're all capitalists. They're believers in free enterprise. If Rahul Gandhi says he'll give 8,000 rupees to people sitting at home, you won't find too many people in the markets who will be supporting the Congress. Disproportionately, they will support the BJP.
The stock market returns under the UPA about 400%. Under Modi ji, it is 240%. Where
but
are you?
Salman Saab, scam kya hai? Sir, all this is fine.
आप scam सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं हैं. आप
मैं तो सुन रहा हूँ. Salman Saab, first please calm down. Salman bhai, calm down. We're having a sensible. You're an intelligent person. We're having an intelligent conversation. If you are commenting on the morality of the Prime Minister and the Home Minister commenting, that's a different matter. If you're alleging a financial scam, I'm pressing you to explain what that scam is. What's your allegation? What is the financial scam?
Rahul, the scam is that you are basically pumping up the stock market, knowing that internally you know that you're not doing as well. You're telling people that there's going to be a record stock market. Those people who are not as well versed with the market are going and buying things. Let there be an investigation into who's won and who's lost. That's as simple as that. We're not asking for the moon.
Well, all Congress leaders' stocks have also gone up, Salman. I don't know if you run a direct portfolio. I don't. Therefore, your stock portfolio must have also gone up in the last 3 days. What is the scam? Rahul is asking you, what is the scam? What is the scam and why a JPC? And why not go back to 2009, what Arun Kejriwal pointed out? Your finance minister at that stage, our finance minister at that stage, also could be accused of insider trading.
Siddharth, if that is the case, you should have brought it up at that time. My question is, we are in 2024. We had a market
girta hai on some issue or the other.
$1 billion.
Mr. Soz, every day the market goes up on some issue, it comes down on some issue. It's the nature of the market. Where is the scam? Amit Malviya, okay. From what I can try and understand of what Salman Soz is saying, he's basically saying that the PM and the HM should not have been speaking about the markets. Their job is to make policy. They shouldn't be giving investment advice. Respond to this, Mr. Malviya.
Look, Rahul, I don't know in which world the Prime Minister and top ministers in the cabinet shy away from these kind of straight questions. You yourself asked a question to the Home Minister. Is it Rahul Gandhi's allegation that you are part of the scam? That is the argument that we have to take Congress down to. They said that anybody who did an exit poll was part of the scam. Is that true? Now, the Congress spokesperson said that Manmohan Singh never spoke about the stock market. That's because the economy was in the dumps during the Congress rule. And anyway, Manmohan Singh never spoke till Sonia Gandhi allowed him or gave him approval. So where is the point of Manmohan Singh speaking? So stop comparing.
But Mr. Malviya, it's also the fact that typically in the middle of elections and even otherwise, top leaders don't speak about the markets. It's just been the norm. I remember many decades ago as well, asking finance ministers at that time about the markets. Typically, they don't speak about the markets. Why are you linking your performance with that of the markets? Why are you taking that headache on yourself? Let the markets do their thing. The government should do its thing. The markets will make up their minds on what the government is doing.
You asked that question. Can I ask you, why did you pose that question?
No, because
did you have a scam?
I can answer that question because the Home Minister in his past life used to be in charge of a very important portfolio. Okay, go on. Let him speak.
No, that's right. But you asked that question, right? So I am asking you in a very transparent manner that were you part of a scam syndicate? And if you were not, then clearly no one else was. And also let me make this point very clear that Rahul Gandhi is an India pessimist. He is a purveyor of doomsday. He doesn't like people being wealthy. He doesn't like people making money. He would target corporates, and now he's targeting retail investors. Just some data, in 2014, when the UPA came in power, our equity market cap was about 67 lakh crore rupees. Today it is 415 lakh crore, which is approximately 6.2 times. Now, if the market cap has increased to such an extent, clearly there are investors, particularly the retail investors, who have multiplied their wealth and made money. The stock market has sort of broadened, and a lot of more people, particularly retail investors, through mutual funds and other instruments, are now participating in the market. Will Rahul Gandhi tomorrow turn up and say that exactly what I just spoke is actually like a recommendation to go and invest in mutual funds and in stocks? Of course not.
Amit, sorry to interrupt you. The point for those retail investors is that they don't have access to sophisticated information, and when they hear the Prime Minister or Home Minister commenting on this, a question comes up that are they registered investment advisors? Do they have SEBI compliance? And therefore there is a valid question to that extent. I started by raising this point, and maybe the SEBI should clarify. It's an institution where the head is appointed by the government of the day. SEBI should step up and clarify, and you should comment on that.
Siddharth, you know this very well, just as I do, because I've been a banker in my earlier avatar, that recommendations are specific to stocks, are specific to companies. If the Prime Minister, or for that matter the Finance Minister, or any other senior minister of the government says that we are coming back to power and the stock markets are likely to do well because they were asked a question, and that is exactly what happens. Today, the markets in the last 4 trading session is actually up by 7.5 trillion rupees. In the last 2 days alone, the Sensex has regained 21 lakh crore rupees. Now, where is the disconnect here? If as political leaders, we know that we are coming back and we have got a historic mandate, Prime Minister Modi becomes the only other Prime Minister in the history of this country, other than Jawaharlal Nehru, to have got a mandate to be the Prime Minister.
So I'm out of time on this conversation. Salman Soz wants to make a quick point before I wrap up. Mr. Soz, go for it.
The stock markets will capture.
You know, first of all, I mean, just on that last comment, there is no mandate. You got 240 seats. Just sit down now. Just relax. I mean, you guys tried. You didn't get to 370 par. You did not go to 400 par. You got 240. Be humble. The people of this country are basically sick and tired of your arrogance. And let me just make this one final point, Rahul. Let the people of the country know that the much maligned Dr. Manmohan Singh government had a stock market return of 400%, and Mr. Modi delivered about 240%. Let everybody know. And let everybody also know.
None of this establishes where the scam is. The markets, the Indian economy has had growth under both governments. The markets have been growing under both governments. You're alleging one of the biggest financial scams. You're not being able to explain what that scam is. If you say that it is improper for the finance minister and the prime minister and the home minister to be commenting about the markets, that's a different matter. You can have a position on. They're giving a general recommendation saying they think they're doing well, they think the markets will do well. Now, if somebody's so naive to go and invest just on the basis of that, I mean, then you're just setting yourself up to burn your hands.
Rahul, that is not just it. These people knew what was happening in this election. The Prime Minister and the Home Minister, more than anybody else in this country, knew what was happening.
But you don't know that they knew. If they knew, they wouldn't. So how do you know that they knew? This is just like, you're just firing darts in the air. You're saying they knew, they had internal reports that they were getting only 200, 220. You don't know any of that. You're just saying it without knowing that.
Are you seriously saying that Amit Shah and Narendra Modi were clueless about this election? They had internal reports. They had intelligence bureau briefings. They basically
now this is all in the realm of speculation. Malviya Saab, aapko pata tha, Malviya Saab was thinking he's going to get 300 seats. He's ended up at 240. Do you think he knew about this? Let me ask him. Amit Malviya, did you know you were getting 240 seats? He says you knew you were getting 220. That's the scam.
Rahul.
No, Salman Bhai, let him speak, sir. Sir, let him speak.
If Salman shows stop screaming, I can have my word in. Look, the fact of the matter is that he's the one who's been frothing, he's the one who's been screaming, and if he's telling me that at 293 the NDA does not have a mandate, then he has clearly, and his party have not accepted that Prime Minister Modi is going to be back in office for a third term. And if he doesn't understand English, this is the mandate. It is true that the BJP
Mr.
has
Malviya,
got
you aren't answering his question. He's saying
seats.
you knew you were getting 220,
But the reality is,
you aren't answering his question. He's got a mischievous smile on his face, so he knows what he's doing.
I mean,
but he's saying you knew you were getting 220, you weren't going to get 290 yourself. Pata tha ki nahi hai, batao.
Look, I don't want to comment on stupid statements that the Congress spokesperson is making, because that would legitimize whatever he's trying to do. But the fact is that we have the mandate. The markets have factored this in the last 4 trading session after the exit polls came out, which seemed to be a problem with the Congress at the moment. The markets has done well. 7.5 trillion rupees is what has been made in terms of wealth creation. Last 2 trading sessions have been fantastic. I don't know where the scam is. Rahul Gandhi could not explain it.
Do you not, as a markets player, find this a bit dangerous, where market players start talking like netas and netas start talking like market players? If everyone links their own fortunes to that of the market, for example, how a particular company's stock does, if you continuously start looking like that, you'll never be able to do your job. Similarly, if a neta keeps saying, oh, aaj badh gaya, aaj badh gaya, aaj badh gaya, then when it goes down, does that mean the neta is not doing his job properly? Isn't this whole conflation of your esteem, your perception about yourself versus what the markets are thinking of you, trying to link the two, is very dangerous?
But Rahul, may I come in?
Yes, Mr. Kejriwal, please, I'm also running out of time. Quickly, please.
Right. So quickly, I just want to say that post the exit polls, we heard only one number, 295, 295, 295. So if I allege that there is a scam because Rahul Gandhi, Mr. Kharge, the entire opposition from Kashmir to Kanyakumari kept on telling us they are going to win 295 seats and they fell short at 235. Is that not a bigger scam than what people are alleging from the market? And one last point to
But what's the scam
Mr.
in that?
Salman,
They didn't give you any market advice. They told you how much they thought they were getting. Where's the scam?
Advice, but they said that we are winning 295 seats. So they had their intelligence which said 295. BJP had their intelligence which said 370, 400 par. The exit polls, poll of poll said 365. Everybody got it wrong. Let's just leave it at that. And one word for Salman Soz, please do not deride your opponent. I am not from your field. Respect that and allow everyone to speak on a panel.
Okay, Siddharth, very quickly, I'm out of time.
Very quick data, category-wise turnover for 4th June versus 3rd June exit polls versus election results. Only the retail segment at a positive 21,179 crore versus a negative 8,588 crore. Data just sent to me by someone who is watching and understands the markets. So therefore, even the data doesn't support it. There's been a turnaround, and perhaps we'll see that as the government formation becomes clearer, as the policy becomes clearer, and the budget becomes clearer. That's my limited point, Rahul, at this stage.
So the retail investor on the exit poll sold 8,588 crores. And on the day of the election results, the retail investor was buyers of 21,179 crores. So the thing is that, this is all in the markets. Retail investors buying on election day, selling on the exit poll. In any case, that's what happens in the markets. People buy, they sell, you get some right, you get some wrong. There is no scam in that. I don't understand what that scam is. There could be a scam, and that scam is if people knew in advance, before markets closed on Friday, what was in the exit polls, and they knew that this would impact the markets Monday morning, and then they made transactions which you can, the SEBI can check anybody's.
82% of our market is retail investors now. 82%.
No, but when the markets are closed and everybody has the same information on Monday morning, then everybody
takes
a call basis whether they think this information is right or not, which is what they do with all information. There is no scam in that. But anyway, we're in election season, and that election season has an afterglow, and that's continuing. Salman Soz knows that he's fired a few darts in the air. He's very happy. He's feeling slightly chuffed and mischievous, and that's just the nature of the game. That's just the nature of the game. Sir, आपको भी पता है scam नहीं, आप भी मजे ले रहे हो, लेकिन ठीक है, that's fine too.
Rahul, I was just going to say to Mr. Kejriwal that he cannot have a false equivalence between the Congress party and what our estimates might be and what the Prime Minister and the Home Minister of the country might know.
So maybe they had the wrong estimate. Maybe they had the wrong estimate. That's not a scam. The point is you're alleging a financial scam. They just thought more highly of themselves than the Indian voter thought of them, and therefore they didn't get the seats they thought.
No, I'm sorry, Rahul, but pumping up the market and saying that this is going to be a record market based on basically saying that we're going to win, we're going to have a massive majority.
People believing them. Those involved in the markets believe them, which is why they bought. Amit Malviya, I'm running out of time. He has his hand up. Sir, when you say something, people decide whether they believe you or not. If they believe them, they bought the markets. Otherwise, they won't. Okay, Amit Malviya, very quickly, I'm out of time.
Look, you've got to cut some slack to the Congress party and Rahul Gandhi. They've just lost a third election and they will be out of power for 15 years by 2029. So obviously they are entitled to the hallucinations that they are going through. As you said, this is post-result effect. It will continue till government formation and till the new government settles down in the office. You will hear a lot more of this from Rahul Gandhi. Remember, he has been making all kinds of wild allegations in the last 10 years. So really, the man has very little credibility, but we enjoy his petulance, and it will continue, I guess.
Got a margin of 1.5 lakh votes in UP,
that's
whereas
a
my
different
man
debate.
had the highest margin in UP. Your man has credibility? Narendra Modi has credibility compared to Rahul Gandhi? Are you kidding me?
Okay, that's a different debate. Sir, we'll have a different debate on that.
He's the Prime Minister for the third term. And Rahul Gandhi is just a member of parliament.
Okay, that's a different debate, Mr. Soz, and you know that as well. In the last 40 minutes, I have received more than 3 dozen messages, including from some of the top players in the Indian stock markets. Now, the fact is that those invested in the markets are deeply interested in politics at the moment. And for some reason, those in politics are commenting on the markets. I think it's best that the two be divorced as they usually are. The netas do the politics, the market operators, they work on the markets, and that's the way it really should be. And the government shouldn't be taking the load of how the market does on its own head, because that's very dangerous. Tomorrow the markets tank. Is that a reflection on the government's performance? In some ways it is. But do you want to make it a reflection of your performance? Or do you say the markets do their job, we do ours, and that's how the country operates? Modi 3.0 is taking shape. NDA allies, meanwhile, have started flexing their muscle. Apart from demanding key portfolios, the Janata Dal United is now seeking a review of the Agniveer scheme. Here's more.
As Narendra Modi gears up to take oath for the third time as India's Prime Minister, allies in the NDA camp are already piling pressure on the BJP. Nitish Kumar-led JDU has sought a review of the Agniveer, the new scheme implemented by the Modi government to induct soldiers, which gives only a 4-year term to 75% of the recruits.
अग्निवीर योजना को में नए तरीके से सोचने की आवश्यकता है। सुरक्षा कर्मी थे जो सेनाओं पे तैनात थे, उसके बाद जब अग्निवीर योजना आई तो एक बड़े तबके में असंतोष था। मेरा ऐसा भी मानना उनके परिवारजनों ने भी चुनाव में विरोध जाहिर किया, लिहाजा इस पर नए तरीके से विचार विमर्श करने की आवश्यकता है।
As the Lok Sabha elections progressed, the anger over Agniveer has forced even the BJP to promise a review.
मैं सारे अपने अग्निवीर के जवानों को आश्वस्त मैं करना चाहता हूं कि किसी भी सूरत में हमारी सरकार उनके भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ नहीं होने देगी।
Not just Agniveer, the Modi government, which enjoyed a clear majority in the first 2 terms, could face more heat on some key ideological agendas like Uniform Civil Code and One Nation One Poll.
यूसीसी पर नीतीश कुमार जी ने चिट्ठी लिखी थी विधि आयोग के अध्यक्ष को, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि हम इसके खिलाफ नहीं हैं, लेकिन इसमें व्यापक विचार विमर्श की आवश्यकता है। जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्री हैं, डिफरेंट पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज हैं, सबके साथ मिलकर के विचार विमर्श करके कोई यूनिफाइड फॉर्म निकालना चाहिए।
Another challenge could be the caste consensus, which became a poll issue in the Hindi heartland but had no resonance in South India.
आप कास्ट सेंसस कब हुआ आप जानते नहीं, आप भूल गए। आप बोलिए ना, हम तो 9 पार्टियों को बैठा करके किए, तो हमने सबको बुलाया तो हमने किया है जी। उस समय तो अपोजिशन दूसरे तरफ था, उन लोगों को भी कहे थे, ले भी गए थे। और क्या होना चाहिए ये आप अच्छी तरह नहीं जानते हैं, कितने लोग किस काम को करेंगे, वो सब मेरा किया हुआ है ना जी।
According to me, all census anyway you have to do it. Per capita income you can measure every individual and family and a village and a mandal. Accordingly you can have programs. My idea is skill census.
Skill census. You are saying instead of a caste census, you need a skill census to monitor the skills that people have.
Yeah.
The immediate challenge is the allocation of ministers. The BJP top brass is walking the tightrope as it gets down to finalizing the portfolios. Prime Minister Modi's allies Nitish Kumar, Chandrababu Naidu, Eknath Shinde and Kumaraswamy are eyeing plum posts.
The initial information what I received is that we were asking about 6 portfolios, which are all crucial portfolios. But this is a request what we put forward. So there is a room for negotiation and discussion. Definitely we have asked for certain key portfolios with the larger interest of the state in mind.
Sources in the BJP say that the leadership will draw a Lakshman Rekha and not buckle under its allies' pressure. The Saffron Party is likely to retain defence, finance, agriculture, external affairs, railways, road and transport, home ministry along with the speaker post. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where we wrap up the news track tonight. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.